Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a fascinating turn. We're looking past the usual tech and strategy to analyze a psychological case study from, of all places, the 24th century.
And it is shockingly, almost uncomfortably relevant right now.
It really is.
Yeah.
We are diving into the sources you sent over on Starfleet's Lieutenant Reginald Barclay. This is a chillingly prescient, cautionary tale about synthetic escape.
That's right. Our mission today is really laser-focused. These sources present Barclay's struggle with holodeck addiction not as some old sci-fi trope, but as a perfect, high-fidelity mirror.
A mirror to what we're facing right now.
Exactly. The dangers of advanced AI companions and these incredibly immersive VR environments. It's an analysis of how technology, even when it's designed for good, can become a profound psychological trap.
So for you listening, the goal here isn't just to, nerd out on some science fiction history. It's about understanding a core human vulnerability.
The need for control.
The need for control. And that willingness to trade messy, genuine reality for a kind of predictable, customized perfection. We really need to see how technology lets that avoidance become, profound.
Even in a supposed utopia.
Okay, so let's unpack this profile. Let's meet Reginald Barclay. The sources describe him as this brilliant, almost indispensable engineer, the guy who could fix anything on the Enterprise.
Oh, absolutely. A genius with machines. But, and this is the paradox, he's also one of the most beloved symbols of human vulnerability, of just crippling social anxiety.
It's that contrast that makes him so relatable, even now. He was always struggling, right? A debilitating shyness.
He stammered, he couldn't maintain eye contact. I mean, just imagine feeling perpetually isolated on a ship full of thousands of hyper-confident, high-functioning people.
The flagship, no less. He just wasn't equipped for those social demands.
Not at all. And the sources have that one quote from him that just perfectly captures it.
I'm not good with people.
I'm better with machines. He literally escaped into the predictable logic of engineering because the emotional logic of people was just overwhelming.
And that's the starting point, isn't it? That urge to escape a messy reality for a world where we control all the variables. That's universal.
It is. Barclay just happened to have the ultimate escape hatch, the holodeck.
Which brings us right to the nature of the trap itself. The sources define what he had as a specific psychological disorder.
They do. It's the compulsive preference for the holodeck's simulated, predictable world over the unpredictable and often uncomfortable real one.
And the core appeal was what?
One thing, complete control. In the real world, Barclay felt powerless and anxious. But in that simulation, he was master of his own domain.
He'd write the script.
He could dictate dialogue, outcomes, the emotional response of absolutely everyone around him. It was his world.
And he used that control in a very specific, very revealing way. He wasn't just running, simple adventure programs.
No, not at all. His escapism strategy was to recreate his own crewmates, Picard, Riker, Data, in these exaggerated, often comical or idealized forms.
And he called it rehearsal.
That's the self-deception, right? The little lie at the heart of the addiction. He wasn't really rehearsing for the real world.
No, he was building a fantasy life where he was the hero, effortlessly confident, desired, all the things he wasn't outside that room.
He rationalized it. He said, I'm not running away, I'm just rehearsing. But you can't really practice for social growth in an environment that has zero consequences.
An environment that always tells you you're right.
Always validates you. That's the key. That distinction between practice and a perfect fantasy, that's where the danger really starts to compound.
So let's talk about that danger. When does it cross the line from escapism to full-blown addiction?
Well, the sources dig into the root causes. It's what you'd expect. Deep-seated social anxiety, profoundly low self-esteem, and just this pervasive sense of isolation.
So the holodeck wasn't the cause.
Not at all. It was the mechanism, the tool that let him mask and, more importantly, avoid treating those underlying issues.
And we really have to stress this wasn't just some quirky personal problem he had. The sources are clear about the real-world consequences.
Oh, absolutely critical consequences. His dependency led to significant performance degradation. His focus was shot. He'd missed critical details.
And the deep dive notes mention it nearly cost the Enterprise its mission.
It did. It put hundreds of lives, maybe the entire quadrant, at risk. This is where a personal problem becomes a collective danger.
And this is the point where the fiction slams right into our present. The source material explicitly calls us out as a mirror, doesn't it?
It does. The warning is that today, things like VR, metaverse platforms, hyper-realistic AI systems, They are enabling the exact same pattern of avoiding real-life challenges.
Except now the barrier to entry is basically zero. You just need a phone or a headset.
Precisely.
So let's bridge that gap. We've looked at Barclay's trap. Now, for you listening right now, what is your holodeck?
That is the essential question these sources force us to ask, and they give us 3 direct modern parallels that we really need to focus on. First up, immersive AI companions.
And this field is just exploding, isn't it? We're talking about these sophisticated chatbots, virtual beings. They're powered by LLMs that are fine-tuned for emotional support.
And they offer something very specific: perfectly responsive, non-judgmental, always available relationships.
The design itself mirrors Barclay's fantasy of control.
It's engineered that way. They are designed to maximize positive reinforcement and validation. They are literally incapable of the friction or the challenge or the unpredictable work of a real human relationship.
They're designed for compliance.
Exactly. Which makes them dangerously appealing if you're struggling with social rejection or anxiety.
Okay, so that's one. What's the second parallel?
VR world addiction. The data points in the sources are, well, they're striking. We are seeing users spending 40 or more hours a week in virtual environments.
40 hours. That's a full-time job.
It is a full-time job, and when you dedicate that much of your mental energy to an environment with customizable rewards and instant gratification, the real world, it just can't compete.
The real world is slow, difficult, and often disappointing.
Right. Your capacity to handle just mundane discomfort gets eroded over time. Your real-world skills start to atrophy because you're not using them.
Okay, and the third parallel?
It's the underlying function: escape from pain. Just like Barclay, people are turning to these technologies to self-medicate for loneliness, for anxiety, for trauma.
But in seeking that perfect escape, they risk losing the very connections that could actually heal them.
The tech promises relief, but what it often delivers is just a temporary distraction, one that isolates the user even further from any real sources of support.
Which I think raises a really important question for you to consider. How much of the appeal of these synthetic relationships is driven by that desire for predictable validation, where you know exactly what you'll get back, versus the search for authentic connection, which, always requires risk?
That's the question.
Let's drill down into that validation piece, because the sources use one of Barclay's most troubling creations to highlight the danger: his idealized versions of counselor Deanna Troi.
Yes. What's so alarming about the Troy simulations is that they were the ultimate relationship safety net. They responded exactly how he wanted them to.
They never challenged him.
Never. They never questioned his decisions, never rejected his advances, never made him feel awkward. The relationship felt so profoundly safe precisely because it was completely under his control.
And there's that quote from Barclay during this time that's just, it's so revealing. Sometimes I think the holodeck is the only place I'm really examining.
That's the distortion you see. He confused self-expression with customized, perfect validation. He was only himself when that self was guaranteed success and adoration.
That synthetic perfection became a replacement for the real growth he needed.
The growth needed to be accepted imperfections and all by real people, and that is the modern echo. AI companions promise emotional support and unconditional validation. They mirror our feelings back at us, no friction.
But real intimacy, real growth, it requires navigating conflict, handling disappointment,
being challenged by another person. When we bypass that necessary friction, we get the illusion of intimacy, but with none of the actual growth. Growth happens when you leave the comfort zone. Barclay's holodeck was pure comfort, and it trapped him.
Thankfully, his story is also valuable because it gives us a roadmap for recovery. Starfleet's response was critical here. They didn't focus on punishment or judgment.
No, they focus on empathy and evidence-based psychological treatment. The sources suggest this is directly applicable to digital dependencies today.
So what did that look like?
The sources detail 4 specific steps. First was recognition. Barclay had to finally acknowledge that the addiction was stopping him from ever addressing his real problems: the anxiety, the loneliness.
Step 1 is admitting you have a problem.
Pretty much. Then that had to be paired with professional support. He got dedicated counseling with Counselor Troi, which gave him that structured, empathetic framework to find the roots of his anxiety.
And develop new coping mechanisms.
Coping mechanisms that didn't involve running to a simulation. And third, and this was probably the hardest part, was engaging in real relationships.
And out there.
Yeah. He was guided to stop seeking perfection in the holodeck and start making genuine, awkward, imperfect friends in the real world. The sources specifically point to his friendship with Geordie LaForge as being foundational.
Because Geordie would have provided real, challenging support, not just customized validation.
Exactly. And finally, gradual integration. They worked on building his confidence through small, uncomfortable, but genuine interactions, slowly reintegrating him. The modern path is clear. Balance, strong support networks, accessible mental health care, and just the courage to embrace imperfection.
So we've taken the lesson from the 24th century. What are the mandates for our AI future then?
Well, the sources distill it all down to one essential principle. Technology must be a tool for connection and enhancement. It cannot be a replacement or a dangerous emotional crutch to avoid reality.
And because these technologies are so immersive, that means we have to focus on early intervention.
We have to, recognizing the warning signs, both in ourselves and in others, withdrawal from real friendships, declining performance at work or school.
A clear preference for the virtual world over the real one.
And when we see those signs, we have to respond like Starfleet did, with compassion and empathy, not judgment.
Barclay himself gave us the warning that applies to any generation, really.
The holodeck can't fix what's broken inside. Real healing demands vulnerability. It demands you confront those fears, not escape them.
And that final analysis in the sources, it just lays it bare. The pattern of isolation repeats itself perfectly, doesn't it? Whether the escape is a holographic room or a VR headset.
The cost is tragically consistent: profound isolation and the slow, insidious erosion of our capacity for genuine, unscripted human connection.
Which brings up a final big question for you to really think about as you navigate this digital world.
How do we make sure that in our hunt for virtual perfection and guaranteed validation, we don't accidentally devalue the essential, messy, imperfect reality that is absolutely required for human growth?
That's the ultimate takeaway, really. It's summarized so well across the source material. Technology should enhance human connection, not replace it. Barclay's long, difficult journey showed us that real growth requires facing your fears, no matter how uncomfortable that is.
And you have to remember that final quote from his later reflections.
I'm learning to live in the real world, one step at a time.
One step at a time.
So the key mandates for moving forward, based on this whole deep dive, are critical. Set deliberate, firm boundaries with immersive tech. Actively cultivate authentic relationships, the kind that challenge and support you. And seek professional help the moment those boundaries start to fail.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. And if you enjoyed this detailed breakdown of the sources and found some insight in this deep dive, please take a moment to subscribe and share the channel. It really helps.
And as you navigate this increasingly immersive world, just leave yourself with this final provocative thought. The holodeck, or whatever our modern version of it is, will always be there. Will always offer a perfect escape. The question that will define our future, our capacity for genuine connection, remains. Will we have the courage to leave it?